In fall of 1976, we were a one-car family with more than one licensed driver. Dad had this big old four-door Ford LTD, and I had talked him into letting me borrow the car for a while, and remember promising him to be back at a certain time because he had someplace to go. I don't remember where I went, what he had to do, or what I did, but I remember pulling into the driveway as a song I'd never heard came on the radio. It wasn't really a song, but it was kind of a narration or a recitation with light music in the background, and I couldn't stop listening. As I sat in the car, Dad was in the window pounding on the glass to get my attention, waving me inside. The more I motioned him to hang on, the angrier he got at me. A few days later, I bought the record and played it for him. I remember the look on his face as he smiled at me and nodded as he understood. The recording was a new release by Jimmy Dean called IOU. This is my version of that recording. You know, most people look through their wallets or their pocketbooks, and way out at the bottom, past the credit cards, baby pictures, and green stamps, you usually find a little old dog-eared piece of poetry. I was cleaning out my wallet the other day, and I ran across a whole bunch of IOUs, some of them 50 years overdue. And you know the funny thing is, all these IOUs, every one of them, are owed to one person. And I kind of feel like right now might be a pretty good time for an accountant. Mom, are you listening? Mom, I owe you for so many things. A lot of services. Like night watchman, for instance. For lying awake at nights, listening for coughs, cries, creaking floorboards, and me coming in too late. You had the eye of an eagle and the roar of a lion, but you always had a heart as big as a house. I owe you for services as a short order cook, chef, baker. For making sirloin out of hamburger, turkey out of tuna fish, and the world's best stuffed peppers, and open-faced grilled cheese sandwiches, and for making me and my sisters out of leftovers. I owe you for cleaning services, for the daily scrubbing of face and ears, all work done by hand, and for the frequent dusting of a small boy's pants to try to make sure that I led a spotless life, and for washing and ironing no laundry could ever do, for drying the tears of childhood, and for ironing out the problems of growing up. I owe you for services as a bodyguard, for protecting me from the terrors of thunderstorms and nightmares, those bouncing clown bags you hit when they come back at you, and too many fried eggs. And Lord knows I owe you for medical attention, for nursing me through measles, mumps, bruises, bumps, splinters, and spring fever. And let's not forget medical advice either. Oh no. Important things like don't scratch it or it won't get well. Or if you cross your eyes, they're going to stick like that. And probably the most important advice of all was make sure you got on clean underwear, David, in case you're in an accident. I owe you for veterinarian services, for feeding every lost dog that I dragged home at the end of a rope, and for healing the pains of puppy love. I owe you for entertainment. Entertainment that kept the household going through some pretty tough times. For wonderful productions at Christmas, 4th of July, birthdays, and Passover. And for making make-believe come true on a very limited budget. I owe you for construction work. For building kites, confidence, hopes, and dreams. And somehow you made them all touch the sky. And for cementing together a family so it would stand the worst kinds of blows, shocks, for laying down good strong foundation to build a life on. I owe you for carrying charges, for carrying me on your books for the necessities of life. Things that a growing boy's just gotta have. Things like a pair of mirrored aviator sunglasses like all the TV cops used to wear. And something else, Mom, that I never ever will forget. when there were 2 pieces of pie. And Dad and I were hungry. You were always the one who decided that you really weren't hungry anyways. And of all the IOUs, most of them are for apologies that I never delivered for all the times that I needlessly made you worry or cry. These are just a very few of the things for which payment is long overdue. The person I owe them to works very cheap. She's managed by simply doing without a whole lot of things that she's needed for herself. My IOUs add up to much more than I could ever hope to repay. But you know, the nicest thing about it all is that I know she'll mark the entire bill paid in full for just one kiss and 4 little words. Mom, I love you.